What is up, Iowa Hawkeye fans? We are here today to discuss Iowa men's basketball defeating at home the Indiana Hoosiers 85-60 to improve to 12-4 on the season. Indiana came into the game 13-3, which is definitely a decent record. Both teams were about the same in the net rankings and some of the efficiency ratings. But this was, for all intents and purposes, a must win. The best thing that you can do as a program, especially within the Big Ten or any major Power Four conference, is take care of home court advantage. And usually Iowa men's basketball does do a good job of that. So this was a must win for Iowa to really start putting themselves squarely in the NCAA tournament with a little bit of room to spare. For most of the year, I would say that Iowa has kind of been in that first four out, first four in range, okay? Sometimes more, sometimes less, but I would say for a large portion, from what I've been able to check and verify, that is where they have been. I usually use Bart Torvik as my barometer. I think Bart Torvik is pretty accurate as they use a variety of ratings to kind of give their prognostication of who is in the NCAA tournament and who is out. Let me start here. So this was a phenomenal defensive performance. This was probably Iowa's most complete victory this season. And when Iowa lost to Wisconsin, I went off. You guys know I did. I did not hold anything back in describing the loss as a complete and utter embarrassment. Sure, Wisconsin is currently an NCAA tournament team. They're a top 35 net team. It was on the road at Wisconsin. But given the fact that Iowa was able to score over 80 points, they should have been able to compete in that game a lot more. And for what it's worth, they did compete in stretches in that game. Okay, it wasn't a complete blowout from beginning to end, but I would say still for at least half the game it was a blowout, out of reach for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And there was a player for Wisconsin, I can't remember which player it was, but essentially this player said that once Wisconsin knew that Iowa didn't want to play any defense, they knew that they had the game won and that they could lock in offensively, get whatever shot they wanted, and lock in defensively and really take care of business. And I got to tell you, they were right. They were able to get whatever they wanted, and they did take care of business. I mean, it's wild. You know, most of the country, most teams in college basketball, if they're able to score 80 points, they have over, I would say, a 55% to 60% chance of winning. But here's the thing, guys, about adversity and losses, okay? Sometimes it's not always bad. Sometimes a bad thing, if looked at in the proper context and taking it for what it is, can be turned into something positive in the long run, both on an individual and as a team perspective or on a team level. And when Iowa lost, that is what I said. I said that hopefully Iowa would learn from this loss and move forward, realizing that you're never as bad as your worst loss and you're never as good as your best loss. But there were some things that Iowa needed to fix. Their defensive intensity, their rebounding, but these were things that Iowa has needed to fix pretty much all season long. But they have never lost in a way up until that point to where it required them to take a good, long, hard look at themselves. And then you couple it with being called out by a member of the other team, and it's just embarrassing. And so Iowa now has won 2 straight games, one over Nebraska, one over Indiana, both at home. And I'm very happy that Iowa won 2 home games. That is your bread and butter, is home performances, winning at the very least above a 75% clip. This was Iowa's most complete performance. And let me start here. Man, I love Drew Thelwell. This guy competes. He plays hard. He gets after it. He brings a moxie, an attitude, not in like a bad way, not in like a cocky way, but he just plays hard. He brings it. He competes, gets after it. And it's a pleasure to watch. In a lot of ways, he reminds me of Anthony Clemens in kind of their size. They're both 6'3". They're both, they can shoot, although that's not their bread and butter. They're excellent defensively. They move the ball around. They're good distributors. They get assists. They make the plays that nobody else is willing to make. This could be, Drew Thelwell is definitely going to be up there with, Ben Krikke and Philip Obracha as one of the best transfer portal gets that Fran McCaffrey's had. And, just for what it's worth, Fran McCaffrey in Iowa has hit pretty consistently on their transfer portal guys. All of them have come to Iowa and given production in one way, shape, or form or another. If I had to rank them at this point, I would, put Philip Obracha 1, since he played at Iowa for multiple years, especially his final 2 years. He was really strong. Iowa was lucky to get him kind of younger in the process, and then I think he did have an extra Koof year. Ben Krikke, only had the 1 season, and man, Iowa would have been way worse off had they not landed him in the transfer portal, because Iowa had no options at the center position. And then Drew Thelwell. But Drew Thelwell definitely is making a case to move up that ladder because what he's able to bring at the guard position is huge. And especially when it is the guard position, you need moxie, you need confidence, you need grittiness, and he brings it. So, Iowa thankfully was able to get the win against Nebraska without him. But man, he was like an injection of force for this Iowa Hawkeye basketball team. What are those injections that people get for like injuries and stuff? Anyways, team stats: Iowa shot 54.2%, and they held Indiana to 40.7% from the field. Excellent. That is, especially for a team like Indiana that has 2 bigs that are potential NBA players in Omar Ballo and Mackenzie Migbako, which I'll circle back to. For Iowa to hold them to that low percentage shows that they were making it tough on the bigs all night long to get easy buckets. Which that's really all you can ask for, is that you're making every basket difficult, or most of them. They held Indiana to 25% shooting from 3 while Iowa shot, and they only made 4 3-point shots. Iowa went 11 of 24 for 45.8%, so basically 46%. The only negative on the game is Iowa shot 10 of 18 from the free throw line for 55.6%. You guys know my rule. On any given game, for the season, you should be shooting minimum 70% as a team. Okay. I can maybe do with like 67, 68, 69 on like, occasional performances here or there, especially if it's on the road. But that should be the barometer, especially for a team like Iowa. They need to make their points count, especially at the charity stripe. I'm looking for that 70% mark to hit. Definitely at least 60%. I mean, 10 of 18 really below 60% is not good. So that's the one negative to this performance. Total rebounds. Iowa finally won a rebounding battle. And it's crazy that it was against Indiana, who has one of the biggest bigs, one of the more talented bigs, supposedly, in the country, power forward and center. They won 37-31. They limited Indiana to 9 offensive rebounds, and they had 6 more defensive rebounds than Indiana, 28-22. Assists 18-15 in favor of Iowa. Blocks 6-1 in favor of Iowa. Steals 11-4 in favor of Iowa. That is something that Iowa has improved upon this year defensively, has been their ability to generate turnovers and steals. And a lot of that has to do with Brock Harding and Drew Thelwell, which I'm going to circle back to. Turnovers, Iowa had 13. Little too high. I'd like that number to be closer to 11, 10, I think is okay. Obviously anything lower than that is really good. And Indiana had 16. So I said a while back that if Iowa is going to play small ball, what they need to do is they need to find a way for their small ball team to be advantageous on the defense side of the ball, whether it be to get up more in the passing lanes, whether it be to have more of an aggressive scheme, whether it be to switch screens, pretty much 1 through 4, 1 through 5, because honestly, Owen Freeman has the lateral quickness to guard most spots. Whatever it is, you have to find a way to take the small ball team and turn it into a positive on the defensive side of the ball. And the quickest way that I could see that happening is by intensity, getting in the passing lanes. There's a lot of stuff that if you break it down in film, you're like, oh yeah, we can fix that. That's no problem. Oh, that's it. So it's not always as difficult or as daunting a task as one might think, or just not giving up on plays. Hustling, closing out, having a hand in the shooter's face. And I thought Iowa, this was their best performance on the defense side of the ball. Pretty much every possession they were locked in, they were guarding hard, and again, they generated turnovers. Owen Freeman limited Omar Ballo to 10 points as well as Mbako to 6. Although Omar did have 13 rebounds, which is not bad. But and then after the game, Owen Freeman, I posted it on the 247hawkeye.com Facebook group. He said, and it was not co-freshman of the year. It should have been Owen Freeman who was freshman of the year. And, the Indiana guy, McKenzie, he's the guy who had the co-freshman of the year. He didn't have bad stats. In fact, some of his stats were better than Iowa's, or Owen Freeman's. But I think Owen Freeman impacted his team more as a true freshman, especially with his usage rate and things like that. Owen Freeman had 16 points, 12 rebounds, and 1 assist. That is the Owen Freeman that I wanted to see. 12 rebounds, getting after it. These games where he has 3 rebounds, 2 rebounds. No. He is more than athletic enough, more than capable enough He has the thickness as a big to go and get minimum 6 boards a game. Easy. 6 boards a game. Also, this game made me kind of look at some of the Iowa players and kind of their NBA draft projections, or kind of where they're at. And I did find a Substack. The guy's name is like Anir something. He does a mock draft on Substack. And I don't know how successful it is, but he also posted a player evaluation of Owen Freeman, and I thought it was very detailed, very honest. I'll probably end up sharing it in the Facebook group just in case people are interested in reading it, because I'm surprised Owen Freeman does not have more NBA attention. I do believe that, and just because he doesn't have more NBA attention from like the media doesn't mean that scouts are not aware of him. Okay. Owen Freeman has improved from year 1 to year 2. And in this guy's mock draft, he had in his 1.0, he had Owen Freeman going as a late first round draft pick. Now he has him as an early second round draft pick. But I do believe that Owen Freeman will have a decision to make after this year. As things stand now, I don't think he will leave. But Owen Freeman, if he did well enough in the combine, and depending on how he's able to finish this last half, especially in Big Ten play, and if he's able to show what he was able to show defensively and rebounding like he did against Indiana's bigs, I mean, there's still a lot of room for improvement, because the biggest thing for Owen Freeman when it comes to his scouting is his defense, not fouling so much, which I think he's done a lot better this year. Him not giving up on plays, and him continuing to show that he's able to move laterally in high pick and roll situations and things like that. And then obviously showing that he has developed a jump shot, which I think he has improved on. So things can change. As things stand now, I would say my prediction is that he will test the waters, but he'll come back for a third year. And after the third year, he will be gone. That's my prediction as of right now. I also think Josh Dix is an NBA prospect, but I'm not sure that he has enough attention yet. Again, things can change. But Josh Dix, to me, screams NBA. He has the talent. He's able to score at all 3 levels. He plays defense hard. Josh Dix, I think, is a future NBA player. But anyways, that's for a different video. Peyton Sandfort had 23 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Brock Harding, 10 points, 10 assists, and 4 rebounds. Man, this is probably the best guard tandem that Iowa has had in a long time. And the good thing is that Fran McCaffrey is really getting this rotation to settle in with the minutes distribution and all of that. I was right. I said that Seydou Traore will be more of like depending on the game, will be a low, 7 to 10 minutes to maybe, depending on the game, 15 plus minutes. And I'm right. As we're in Big Ten play, this game he had 8 minutes, and I'm okay with that. He's not quite there to be a consistent contributor yet. Josh Dix was hot in the first half. He had finished with 12 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Drew Thelwell, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. I believe he had 5 steals and 12 points. Price Sandfort chipped in 12 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Price Sandfort is my early favorite to replace his brother in the starting lineup next year. He's already shown that he can contribute. And in a lot of ways, I actually prefer his game to Peyton Sandfort. I believe he's more athletic. He's better laterally. And I think he can handle the ball a little bit better, as when he was in high school, he was more of like a point forward type of guy. I would like him to gain a little bit more weight, but we'll see with that. But Lajai Dembele, well, there's going to be 2 spots open in the starting lineup next year, minimum, with Drew Thelwell and Peyton Sandfort graduating. Lajai Dembele, 12 minutes, 3 rebounds, and 4 points. So, great win, guys. Bart Torvik, in their updated projection, has Iowa squarely in the NCAA tournament as one of the last 4 buys. Not the last 4 in, last 4 buys. So, Iowa is squarely in the NCAA tournament. The updated net rating, I think, is 42nd. Let's see here. Net rankings. Net. 45th in the updated net rankings. And, you look at Iowa, and previously they were 52nd. You look at their quad 1 and quad 2 record, they're 5-4. They're 5-0 in quad 2 games, and unfortunately they're 0-4 in quad 1 games. Again, games can flip-flop whether they're quad 1, quad 2, quad 3, as the season goes on. But as it stands right now, that's what it is. So I am very pleased with Iowa's improvement. I said at the beginning of the year, I think that this team has a high ceiling. And I like the rotation that they have. It's going to continue to be a battle for them against bigger teams as they have a small lineup. But rebounding is desire as much as it is athletic ability. So if at the end of the day, sports is, can we do what we do better than they do what they do? Can we take away what they do better than they can take away what we do? Simplified, that is what sports comes down to. All right, Hawk fans, thank you guys so much for watching. I probably will do a video sometime just detailing Iowa future NBA draft prospects, who I think that is. For what it's worth, just one final note. The Indiana guy, Mbake, who was the co-freshman of the year with Owen Freeman, he is actually on most draft boards late first round, early second. And so again, I am surprised that Owen Freeman is not in that same territory. Because Owen Freeman, to me, has some things that are actually more advantageous than Mbake. Mbake. But I think the difference is that Owen Freeman was not heralded coming out of high school. I don't know this other guy's ranking. I would have to go and look. But, Owen Freeman was like a low 4-star, pretty under the radar 3-star recruit. So, all right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment. You guys know the drill. Last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow and facts our feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. I love you, Hawk fans. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.